This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
Hey, it's Austin James. If you're like me, trying to live your best life while living with diabetes, you can relate to worrying if you're doing a good job managing your diabetes. I use the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor to get real-time glucose readings and see the impact of every meal and activity to make better decisions. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor can help me live life with diabetes on my own terms, and it gives me more time for the things I love, like being a dad and a musician. Now this is progress. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
Craven, the hunter, who uses all the methods of the animals.
Now, witness the making of a new Marvel villain.
Once you're on his list, there's only one way off.
Aaron Taylor Johnson is Craven the Hunter. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and... okay, fine. It's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
And welcome back to the Skating Penguin Network, everyone. It is Robbie. I am joined by Snail. We'll toss it over to him in a second. First, it is the evening of December 12th, a Thursday night. Penguins just wrapped up what can only be described as the commanding victory of the season. A 9-2 throttling of the Montreal Canadiens in Montreal. They complete the season sweep of the Habs. They win twice in the Bell Center, once at home. But we talked about a couple times this year about what was going to be the bar for worst Penguin performance of the year. Well, I think we have set a new bar tonight for the Penguins' best performance of the year. A complete domination of the Canadiens with 6 unanswered goals in the third period. The Penguins just they didn't come out hot, but they bounced back and then rolled from there on in. We had a Brian Rust hat trick. We had 2 goals from Ricard Raquel. We had 3 assists from Sidney Crosby. Up and down the roster was scoring. And I'll bring Snail in now. And I think it's safe to say that this was a victory we have not seen very often this year, Snail, but one where the Penguins look like a team that, if they can stay playing hot, could do some damage. They just need to try to keep up these winning ways.
Yeah, you said it, Robbie. It's, there's a couple of things I wanted to say about your first statement there. This game started out like a game I've seen many times this season. First shot that Jari faces goes in the net, where Nick Suzuki got on the board with that one, and I was just kind of like, oh boy, here we go. I've seen this one before. Raquel, the Penguins' leading goal scorer, gets his 12th of the season, and we'll get to him again later. We can go through the scoring, I think, in a second, but just my initial thoughts was, it's a typical 2024-2025 season Penguins game, actually, into the second period where the Penguins are up 3-1. Yoel Armia gets the Habs back to within 1. And I'm thinking, oh boy, here we go. The third period, they better hang on. Don't beat yourselves. And the Montreal Canadiens, they went full Penguin, and you never go full Penguin. They penguined themselves, and it was utter, I don't want to say chaos. They just poured it on. And I was telling you, Robbie, I think you could go back to our last post-game recap. I think I said it. I don't think I called it, but I said, just put the pedal through the floor against this team. Don't give them any hope to win. I demand 4 points out of this mini Canadian road trip. And I said cookie night. I called it a cookie night. Just everybody stat pad. I even said that, I think. I was like, pad your stats if you can. Other teams do it to the Penguins all the time when they're down and out. They kick them when they're down. And I think if I think that they need to just do that. Just put the pedal absolutely through the floor and floor it. And they did that. I mean, guys that haven't scored in over a year are getting on the board this game. Uh, Nola Chari, who has been arguably invisible for a number of games now, gets a goal. And these goals that they're getting, some of them were pretty. Like that Nieto goal was oddly pretty for a fourth line goal. The Achari goal was just what's the term they use? It's just insult to injury. Like that was a weird one that you don't see too often. So why don't we get to the scoring here? And Robbie, you can do the honors of kind of going through the scoring summary and just list off basically the entire roster almost, or half the roster that got on the score sheet tonight, putting up 9 on the Habs. Boy, what a nice treat for a change.
So, yeah, as Snail mentioned, Nick Suzuki scored within the first about 2 minutes of this game. He scored on the first shot of the game. I believe somebody said that's the 5th time this year that Tristan Jarry has given up a goal on the first shot of the game.
Robbie, that's not good. Before you move on, it's not good. That's not great. That's alarming. That tells me that's not structure. That's in between the ears. That's mental stuff that's going on with Tristan Jarry. And for athletes, pro athletes, hockey players, and God forbid the last thing you want is an NHL goaltender having issues between the ears. That is not good. And that is something that if the Penguins look to make any sort of if they want playoff hopes or anything like that of salvaging the season, Robbie, that Tristan Jarry needs to iron out the kinks with that, because that's just unacceptable. I mean, sometimes the Penguins don't help him out, but giving up the first shot they see in the game that many times, it's pretty unsettling. But continue. Sorry.
Yeah, that's not good, and it won't it will only compound against better teams. But the Penguins don't rest on their laurels after this. They don't get down. Rickard Rakell ties it up with his first of the night and 12th on the year on the power play on a very slick feed by Chris Letang. And then, for the most part, the game remains knotted at one apiece until the midpoint of the second period, where Brian Rust, with the old Brian Rust power move, gets his 10th of the year. He becomes the second Penguin to hit double digits on the season with a beautiful little goal to make it 2-1. And then just about 3.5 minutes later, Brian Rust, again, on a slick feed from Rickard Rakell, gets his second in a matter of minutes. And at this point, you're feeling good, feeling great, until a minute after that, Joel Armia makes it 3-2. And like Snell said, you kind of pucker up and clench a little bit at this point. Is this going to be one of those Penguin games? But it is about the exact opposite of that. The Penguins post a 6-goal third period, and their 9 total is actually the most by any team in the NHL this season. So Penguins setting a couple marks tonight. Rickard Rakell opens the third period with his second of the game, 13th of the year. Rust and Crosby get the assist there. Letang gets a power play goal a few minutes later. Anthony Beauvillier gets his 8th of the season about a minute after Letang. And then Brian Rust caps off the Hattie with his third goal of the night and 12th of the season. Him and Rickard Rakell are kind of going back and forth for this team goals lead right now. So, hey, if they want to keep pushing each other, that'd be fantastic. Both right now on pace for about 30-plus goals, so good to see there. At this point, it's 7-2. Again, the Penguins have had trouble keeping leads, but with 8 minutes left, this feels pretty secure. But that doesn't stop Matt Nieto from getting his first goal in roughly probably a decade, it feels like. That had to feel good for him. And then, as Snail said as well, Noel Chari gets a very bizarre, weird, kind of an insult to injury, kicking a dead horse while it's down type of goal that finds its way into the back of the net, his third of the season after, kind of disappearing there for a couple weeks there. But the 6-goal onslaught is great to see from the Penguins. This was your anti-Dallas Stars game, your anti-Rangers game that the Penguins have had this year. Probably their best performance since the Calgary game right after Thanksgiving is a pretty good showing. But they did beat Colorado 6-3 back in October in Montreal. The Penguins, I believe, this year have outscored in 3 wins, have outscored the Canadiens not 18 to, I believe, 5. 6. 18-6. They've tripled the amount of goals in these 3 meetings. And again, they're not going to play this team in the playoffs. There's no guarantee the Penguins make the playoffs. There's even less of a guarantee, I think, Montreal makes the playoffs. They're just not a good team.
Done.
Yeah, they feel like this may have been like they needed a good run going into Christmas for any hope, and it just doesn't. Now, they were 3-1 since Patrick Laine came back coming into this game. The Penguins hold him off the score sheet tonight. Hold on one second here. It is Sam Montembeault. He's on Team Canada for the Four Nations. He's had a pretty good season. The Penguins light him up for 6 goals on 26 shots. Caden Primeau, not much better, gives up 3 goals on 7 shots in relief.
Arguably worse goals.
Yeah, arguably Primeau was the worst of the 2 goalies that were in the net tonight. The first goal given up by the Penguins, the Jari, we're not going to beat that dead horse forever, but a bad turnover by Chris Letang. But he more than redeems himself the rest of the way with an assist on the Ricard tying goal early in the game, and then he scores a goal himself on the power play in that third period onslaught. So but one thing, all these goals tonight, Erik Karlsson 0 points, Evgeny Malkin 0 points. The only Penguins without a point tonight are the only 2 forwards without a point tonight were Evgeny Malkin and Phil Tomasino, and then a few defensemen were without points as well. But Matt Grzelcyk posts 2 assists, and Chris Letang goes 1-1. But Jari, we got to talk about him again after the evening up that bad first goal. He does rebound. He only gives up 1 the rest of the way. Goes 21 for 23 tonight, a .913 save percentage. So another game above 900 in the save percentage department for Jari. But about as comprehensive of a victory as you can possibly draw up for a Penguins team. That it's just nice for once. Yeah, we had to wait to the third period, but it was nice for once that they got what I would say a relatively comfortable win in the end.
Yeah, relatively comfortable win. They just waxed the Montreal Canadiens in the third period, and it's been the opposite for a number of games this season. So I'll take it. And a couple of things. Karlsson without an assist on a night like tonight, though. I don't think I'm picking anyone apart really for not getting on the sheet, because Matt, honey, wake up! Matt Nieto scored. Like, come on! Like, Noel Acciari got his third. Like, Anthony Beauvillier, who has been kind of like hot and cold all season, he gets on the board with an odd one as well. Just kind of a weird game. I think this is one that, even though they waxed them and won, I don't know if you. I think you burn the tape no matter what.
There's no major takeaway other than Montreal's bad. The Penguins, we don't know how good the Penguins are, but they're not as bad as the Canadiens. They've just hammered the Canadiens this year.
They own them.
Yeah, especially in a place where it feels like the Bell Center, they're either good or bad in the Bell Center. And tonight started like one of those, it's going to be a bad night in the Bell Center kind of Penguins games, but they bounce right back. They get the tying goal. And that's probably deflating for a Canadiens team that's struggling. Nick Suzuki's up to 12 goals this year, but the race for the Penguins goal lead right now is probably more entertaining than about anything, because Ricard Raquel has been good all season, and Brian Rust, again, he was injured early but has completely rebounded. I'll look it up here real quick. I'll keep talking. But how many hat tricks he has now on his career?
I think he has 5 now.
He has 5 now. He had none for like the longest time. That is 6. That is 6.
Oh, it's number 6. So he had 5.
It is his first since January.
I think they've all been at home too.
No, he had a hat trick at Chicago
back in like 2018 or something.
Yes, I believe that was. He was really bad. That's a game they actually lost 6-3, and he had all 3 goals. The Penguins have otherwise won every game he's had a hat trick. So this is hat trick number 6. for him. His first since January 2nd, 2022. So almost his first in 3 years. But just, yeah, a good performance. Brian Rust has really bounced back this year after starting out.
30 this year.
I picked him for 30 before the season, but I've been on this train for
years
now that he's eventually going to get 30. Ricard Raquel, if somebody goes, first off, making Zibanejad making Team Sweden over Ricard Raquel is a travesty in and of itself. If anybody goes down, Ricard Raquel has to be your first replacement. But if he wants to keep using that spurn as a jolt to his game, sure, I'm more than fine with it. If he wants to keep just using that as fuel to the fire, I hope that somebody gets hurt and they pass him up again, because it's definitely, again, I think last year has kind of fueled his entire season to begin with. But he's going to score. He's on pace for over, I think he's got to be getting close to 35 goals at this point. He's just red hot. And he hasn't had like those multiple long stretches without a goal. He's just been producing since the puck dropped on the season, basically. And he's just been really good. And it's great to see out of a guy like him that struggled last year and was kind of maybe on the outs in Pittsburgh, but really bounced back in a great way here. And I feel like he might get his hat trick at some point this season as well with the Penguins. But he's been Snail was on this from the beginning, so I'll let you talk about Raquel and what you kind of saw this coming. At least that's what I wouldn't call it a bold prediction because he scored 30 in the past, but this is one that you stuck with and paying off so far.
Yeah, so Ricard Raquel's actually only had, for being a pure goal scorer type of guy, he's only had 2 hat tricks. And I thought maybe he was going to get his third. His previous 2 were with Anaheim. And I think they might have both been against the Oilers. I might have to fact check that. But, dude, the one thing about Raquel this year that's making me just so optimistic for this guy, it's we know he's got the wicked release. He can really shoot the puck. I don't want to say from distance, but he's not just like he's not like a Corey Perry greasy, like right around the crease Hyman type. But this year he's scoring goals in a lot of different ways. Like you've seen the wicked release. He goes to that overused term in hockey. He goes to the dirty areas. But it's true, and he's he can play from behind the net. He can play down low, and he works so well with Sid. And I also think that's one of the reasons for his success this year is. When he was really fighting it last year, he was on Malkin's line a lot. Then they'd throw him on Sid's line to kind of load up on a line. And then I think there was even a couple of times he was on the third line last year. And this year he's been stuck on Sid's wing for better or for worse. It seems for the most part. I think Sid can count on him. I think they've really just gotten that chemistry nailed down. And I was really skeptical about the 2 right-handed shots working with Sid. Rust and Raquel, but it's working out, and Rust and Raquel are trading places for leading scorer on this team right now. So it's working. I don't think Sullivan's going to change that up anytime soon. And I'm happy for Raquel to be rebounding. One, because it makes me look smart, picking him to be on the mend and scoring in bunches. But it's you can count on him for goals to help this team, get these wins. And he works out on the power play. I like Rust on the power play too a lot. I'll mention that as well. Rust and Raquel are really needle movers for the Penguins this season. And it's not like Raquel was hurt last year. Rust has always just been an accountable player for the squad. But dude, someone who's kind of fighting it right now, although he had 3 assists tonight, is Sid. Sid is not. I don't want to say struggling because he's getting on the score sheet. He's winning faceoffs. He's doing Sid-like things out there, but hasn't had a goal in a while. And and I don't want to say he's struggling, but I think Sullivan got asked with a question, kind of like a weird question about like, are you concerned about Sid at all? And Sullivan he basically just said, no, Sid's too good. He's going to figure it out. And he's getting chances, and he he's still getting points. You know what I mean? So, but I figured it was worth mentioning. Yeah, Sid, one of those forwards that did not score a goal tonight, along like Evgeny Malkin and Tomasino, but it'll come for him. You know how it is with Sid. I think there's some chatter out there that he's really fighting it right now, but he had 3 assists tonight. I mean, what more do you want from him? And he looks good out there. He doesn't look like he's hurt or struggling or anything like that.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, as far as the goal, dude, Matt Nieto scoring, I've been not hard on him, but maybe critical. I haven't seen the vision with Nieto. I haven't really understood why he is somebody that the Penguins.
This year, Santa's bringing the power of Energizer into his workshop.
Whoa, the Energizer Bunny's got so much power.
Wait, he's powered up all the toys. I think that means we're done for the year.
I love this bunny.
He's the hardest working helper the North Pole has ever seen. And he wants all your gifts to have the power of the #1 longest lasting AA battery. So this holiday season, stock up on Santa's and the elves' favorite battery, Energizer Ultimate Lithium.
What's up, guys? It's the champ, Sean O'Malley, here to talk to you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money while watching football. Run your game on Prize Picks.
Prize Picks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Just download the Prize Picks app and use code SPOTIFY. That's code SPOTIFY on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Deck your home with Blinds.com. DIY or let us install. Free design consultation. Plus free samples and free shipping.
Head to Blinds.com now for up to 40% off select styles plus a free professional measure. Rules and restrictions may apply.
At Sierra, discover joyous deals on great gifts for everyone on your list. Like cozy slippers, ski gear, fishing poles, bikes, large kayaks, even larger canoes. Whew, which might lead to another discovery. Wrapping gifts is the only sport you need to stay fit this season. 'Tis the season to discover great gifts at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Or Dubas is intent on like hanging on to. I know he was injured for like a really long time, but it is nice to see him get a goal for a professional athlete like him, a professional hockey player, to have been fighting injuries and not have been in the lineup at times and not contributing much on the score sheet when he has been in. For him to get put the biscuit in the basket, as they say, I'm thrilled for the guy. So good on. For Matt Nieto. Yeah, man, I don't really know. I don't really have a whole lot else for this team other than, dude, I wonder, and this is just a typical, like, long shot type of Snail prediction, but the Habs have been, this year, the Habs were not picked to be a playoff team, but one of those cliche, they need to be playing meaningful games late in the season. For this group, because it's a mix of young and old, and it's got some veterans, and they've got that next wave, their core for the future. They've got Lane Hudson playing a lot of minutes every night, their top prospect. But they have been in the spotlight for a lot of the wrong reasons, and they will not, if they play at this rate, they will not be playing meaningful games down the stretch. And I wonder if they're going to make some sort of change. I know Laine kind of gave them a boost when he came back. He was scoring at like a goal a game type of pace, but that wasn't sustainable even for a goal scorer like Patrick Laine. But dude, Marty St. Louis has been on the hot seat quite a bit, and at times this Habs team really resembled the struggling Pens team with that lifelessness and just kind of that no jam. They don't look like it looks like they know what's going to happen already. They're already checked out. They're ready to go to the locker room, with the whole period left to play. I wonder if this is this absolute embarrassment drubbing at home will have any repercussions going forward. I mean, you got to wonder for a market like that with a team that's underperforming like that in Montreal to have a team kind of go down 9-2 like that, dude. Like Habs fans, they were booing. Is it called the Bronx cheer?
That's when you like sarcastically celebrate something.
That was going on tonight.
Yep.
And you got to wonder
wasn't a good night for the Canadiens and their fans. And I don't know what the talk is around like Marty St. Louis or any kind of moves or anything like that. They're obviously not going to go away from one of the big names like Caulfield or Slavkovsky or Suzuki or anything like that. But I don't know what the status or the idea on Marty St. Louis is, but there doesn't seem to be much progress, and I think that's more than a bigger issue than anything else. And I'm now just realizing that Brendan Gallagher is still in the NHL. I really thought Brendan Gallagher was a highly annoying hockey player to play against, but he's only 32. I thought he was older than that. No, again, the Canadiens can at times be an annoying opponent for the Penguins. This year, they basically just bullied them like it was like big brother, little brother this year. Crosby always shows up in Canada, it feels like, as well. So no real surprise to have him post 3 assists against the Canadiens tonight. What else here? He's back. He has 30 points in 31 games. He has not scored a goal since he got his 600. So, yeah, he is really kind of been maybe he's gripping the stick a little too tight now to get that next goal. But, I mean, 3 assists, you're never going to complain about that from Crosby. He just has some teams that he just feast on, and the Montreal feels like one of those teams that suffer when they go up against him. But, I mean, other than that, I mean, just a complete performance from the Penguins tonight.
Yeah, and, you know, I will say one thing, Sid is yet to go on one of those streaks this season where he's just like red hot, and you know it's going to happen at some point. I mean, the point per game thing, I like to see him get that just for another accolade on his like trophy shelf for when it's all said and done.
Yep.
But I don't think he's concerned about that. He's too busy setting other guys up. He's doing all the hard work, and Rust and Raquel are just tapping the puck in the net, empty net goals. And Sid, I wish Sid had a guy who worked as hard as he did. That's no hate to Rusty. Rusty is probably that guy on their line, but sometimes I wish Sid had a guy that set him up every once in a while a little bit more, because, you know, Sid's crafty. He's so good at setting other guys up and really hanging on to the puck and doing the hard work. And then you just need someone that knows where to go and get open. But, you know, Sid can do that too. And sometimes I wish that they'd find him more often, but it'll happen this season. He'll go on an absolute tear, and he'll be like the first star of the week in the NHL or something like that. And he'll rattle off some crazy stat line, and it'll come at some point. I'm not super worried about it. So, other than that, dude, just like enjoy. It was nice to just sit back and enjoy a Penguin game and know that there was no way that they were going to come back or make it tight or whatever. So, and this game, they leave this game, and I hear they're getting on the train. They're not flying. They're actually going by train to Ottawa. And I think it's the first time that the Penguins have taken the train to a game since 2012. So little bit of a different, and it's never been in Canada before. So a little bit of a different vibe. I wonder if anybody will frequent the bar cart. They got a day off tomorrow, and then they're in the nation's capital, and I believe it's pronounced Canada, which is eerily close to Canada. Which is kind of a weird name for your nation's capital, but or for the city they play in the nation's capital. So, Robbie, you got any thoughts? Obviously, it's not going to be like this next game. Like next game, I wouldn't be shocked if it's a 2-1 type game.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ottawa is definitely better than the Montreal Canadiens. At least it feels like they are, but. We'll see. I mean, the Penguins, again, you're not going to score 9 goals every night, but again, there's 2 points on the table against a team that you have to beat if you want to do anything come spring. So go out there tonight or on Saturday night and respond again. Just keep, again, 2-1 this week would be fantastic. Almost say it's necessary with the schedule. It's not, I mean, these are favorable schedules the Penguins have here pretty much now until the end of the month. Again, there's going to be some hard teams here and there, but the Penguins have an opportunity to close out December and head into the new year in way better position than I think any of us thought, even as late as 2 weeks ago. So one thing of note, we were talking about the Penguins, Sidney Crosby dominating the Canadiens. He now has 69 points in 52 career games against the Canadiens. For teams that are not in the division, if I'm counting this right, that is the second highest point total for teams in or outside of the what is the Metro division, trailing only the Buffalo Sabres, where he has 85 points in 60 games. So the Montreal Canadiens have been they're the third highest. He has 74 in 60 games against the Boston Bruins. So Montreal has been a repeated punching bag of Sidney Crosby. So nothing too surprising there. Just as a little note, we will say Ottawa. Let me check here real quick. He has 57 points in 49 games against the Ottawa Senators. So well over a goal or a point per game against the Sens as well. So maybe another big night in store for Sid when it comes to when Saturday night comes around.
You know who I feel like is always noticeable against the Sens too, and I don't have any stats to back this up, but Gino always seems to have himself a time against the Ottawa Senators. It'd be maybe Erik Karlsson gives the Ottawa Senators a little reminder of what he can do before he had left.
Hopefully,
yeah, it'd be nice to see those guys get on the board after a game like today. But yeah, man, I mean, who's getting the start? You think it's going back to Jarry, or you?
I think you roll with Jarry right now. I think he's been, I think he's been the better goaltender the last stretch of play here. Really, his turnaround is what has kind of been the onus for this Penguins streak of success here. So yeah, I go back to Jarry again. You have no back-to-backs until after Christmas. I think Ned will get a start, obviously, in here somewhere. But after Saturday night, you have another 2 days off before the Kings are in town. I'm going back to Jarry on Saturday. I think that he's been playing well enough that he deserves the nod. I'm going back to Jarry here.
I like it. I wouldn't mind it, honestly. Give him the vote of confidence. Start him back-to-back games. Not a back-to-back, but start him in back-to-back games. And I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Ned, I didn't like his last start. And right now, like I said, Robbie, this is mandatory 4 points stashed in their jean pockets on their way home. And I just, if as Mike Sullivan always says, he's putting the best, whoever gives them the best chance to win is who he's starting. And right now, I agree with you. I think it's Tristan Jarry.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that as well. So Penguins next game Saturday night at 7:00. They're in the capital of Canada for a game against the Ottawa Senators. As always, we will be back after that one to recap it. So. I'm going to put a bow on this, Snail, unless you have something else to add before we I actually do have one thing to add. Just because it's kind of become a meme between Snail and I, it should be noted that Boris Tkachuk scored 4 goals for the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins last night. Your daily Boris update is that he scored 4 goals and the Penguins win. The baby Penguins win on Wednesday evening. So Big Bo, they call him Bo. So Big Bo coming through with another big night for the hottest goal scorer in the Penguins organization.
The hottest goal scorer in the Penguins organization for sure. That is impressive. Dude, I think the Skating Penguin Network podcast might need to get a hashtag going for something catchy along the lines of bring Big Bo up to the big leagues. Like, just sign Bo.
Just give us one game of Boris Kachuk playing alongside Sidney Crosby. That's all we need.
Give it to us.
Yeah. Just let us have it. But no, so that's your Boris Kachuk update. Snail, if you don't have anything else, I'm going to just wrap this up and send us home for the night.
Let's wrap this up, and we'll be back with you guys later on. But yeah, I got nothing left, buddy.
All right. Yeah, we will be back Saturday night after the Penguins take on the Senators. Hopefully we get to recap another win. But until then, for Snail, I am Robbie. We will talk to you guys on the weekend.